In the late 1990s, if you were obsessed with computer hardware, there were two names you had to know. One was massive, loud, and everywhere. The other was quieter, slower, and almost academic. For more than a decade, Tom's Hardware and Anandtech were rivals often compared to the Pepsi and Coke of PC hardware journalism. But today, only one remains. This is the story of how two fierce competitors became and how one of them disappeared. The story begins in 1996 when Dr. Thomas Pabst founded Tom's Hardware. At a time when PC parts were confusing and expensive, Tom's offered something rare: accessibility at scale. It grew fast, huge reviews, constant updates, and a global audience. Just 1 year later, in 1997, something remarkable happened. A 14-year-old student named Anand launched a small website called While Tom's Hardware went wide, Anandtech went deep. Painfully deep. Where Tom's might test dozens of CPUs for buyers, Anandtech would dissect architectures, memory controllers, and performance quirks in almost academic detail. For over a decade, these two sites defined the hardware media landscape. Same audience, different philosophies, direct competition. The first major plot twist came in December 2014. Earlier that year, Anand had stepped away from Anandtech to work at Apple, joining the very industry he'd spent years analyzing. At the same time, the hardware media world was changing. Independent sites were struggling, and consolidation was accelerating. Enter Percha Media Company that already owned Tom's Hardware. In December 2014, Perch acquired Anandtech, ending 17 years of independent rivalry overnight. For the first time, the Pepsi and Coke of PC hardware journalism were owned by the same company. Editorially, the sites stayed separate. Tom's Hardware leaned into consumer advice and broader coverage, and Anandtech remained focused on deep technical testing and analysis. They were rivals, no longer but they weren't quite siblings either. Then came the biggest shift of all. In July 2018, UK-based media giant Future PLC acquired Perch's consumer division for $132.5 million. This was no random buy. Future already owned PC Gamer, Tech Radar, and several other major tech brands. By adding Tom's Hardware and Anandtech, Future became the dominant force in English and language consumer tech publishing. From a business perspective, the strategy was clear: centralize infrastructure, share resources, and focus on scale. But that strategy would eventually come at a cost. The story ends, quietly but painfully. On August 30th, 2024, after 27 years, Future PLC officially shut down, and no dramatic farewell, no final review, just an ending. Several longtime Anandtech staff members were moved to Tom's Hardware, which continues publishing, now carrying much of the institutional knowledge that once defined its former rival. One part did survive though: the Anandtech Forums Long, the heart of the enthusiast community, a main online and active under Future's management. Today, Tom's Hardware carries the torch of an era when PC enthusiasts argued over benchmarks, architectures, and thermal graphs late into the night. Anandtech may be gone, but its influence is everywhere. In how hardware is tested, in how deep analysis is valued, and in the expectations of enthusiasts who grew up reading it. Because sometimes, even when a site disappears, its impact never really does. Thanks for watching.